If you want to build big, muscular 3D shoulders with just calisthenics, you found the best video for that. Because not only I'm going to give you multiple exercises for each muscle of the shoulder, I will also explain the techniques in quite a lot of detail. I will also give you the exact amount of sets and reps that you should do for each exercise, and then how many times per week to train the specific exercise in order to get extremely big shoulders. So, if you are watching this, you already know that there are three parts or three delts of the shoulder. You have the front delt, the side delt, and the rear delt. So let's start from the front. It is the front delt. If you are training consistently, or you have been training consistently for quite a lot of time, you already do a big amount of volume for the front delt. Although it is like the biggest muscle of the shoulder and it gives it the most volume, you already train it quite a lot. So you probably don't need any isolations for it. But regardless, I will still give you two of the best exercises to target the front delt. The first one is dips. But just spamming dips isn't good enough. You want to upgrade the technique to hit the front delt even more. How do you do that? You get a really deep stretch. So you go as low as possible with your hips and with your shoulders. And then when you go on the way up, there is a little hack that you can do, is that you do a little bit of this. You can see it on the video, that you contract the shoulder even more to get even more front delt stimulation. And this exercise is absolutely amazing because it takes the regular dip, which already is an overpowered exercise, and it makes it even more targeted for the front delt. And because dips are the best exercise, you want to do around 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps. And all the way up to 3 days a week, if you have the time to do that. Are the deficit closed grip push-ups. What does it mean by a deficit? Deficit means that use parallettes. Lower parallettes, I recommend the higher parallettes, so you can get a deeper stretch. Because if you were doing them normally on the ground, your head would kind of hit the ground, if you know what I mean. But if you are doing it with parallettes, you can go a little bit deeper. And if you know, with the dips, a deep stretch is really, really important when trying to build a muscle. And you can also do it decline, so you elevate your feet. What this will do, it would kind of turn into a pseudo-planche push-up. The pseudo-planche push-up, if you like lean into the planche essentially, your feet are still on the ground obviously, and you do push-ups like that. If you do that, it will increase the time under tension, so even if you are on the top resting, your shoulder is still activated. That is really, really good. And doing around 3 sets of 12 to 17 reps is sufficient, around 1 to 2 times a week. Now, side delts. This is what gives you the width. This is what gives you the broad shoulders, which I don't really have right now because I don't have a pump. But these are kind of hard to hit with calisthenics exercises. Because in the gym, you can just spam lateral raises and that will be probably good enough. But in calisthenics, you need to get quite creative. So the first exercise is pike push-ups with a bit of a wider grip. So you don't do pike push-ups like this because that hits your front delt more. You do it with a bit of a wider grip. I will put a video on the screen. And what do you try to do on the way down? You try to like open up the shoulders and really feel it in your middle delt. And then when you press up, focus on squeezing them together. Also, what you should focus on is on pressing yourself forward, because that will kind of mimic the next exercise. And doing around 3 to 4 sets of around 12 reps is also really good, around 2 days a week. But this next exercise is even better at targeting the side delts. That is the ring face pull. For this, you obviously need rings, but if you are a proper calisthenics athlete, I already account that you have rings in your home gym or in the calisthenics park or wherever you train. You can see the exercise on the screen. When you pull like this, you are also like doing this type of movement, which also targets the side delt, but you are also twisting it, and that hits the rotator cuff. The rotator cuff is kind of an invisible muscle of the shoulder, but if you have a strong rotator cuff, that can prevent injuries and even give you stronger dip strength. I would do up to 3 sets of around 15 reps 2 days a week. But if you have resistance bands, that's a completely different game. I will put a video on the screen how you can do side delts, like training side delts, with resistance band. So it's essentially like with the dumbbells. So you can just step on it and do it like this. Or if you want to be more like Jeff Nippard, science-based, you can lean on the side and anchor the band somewhere over there. I'll also put an exercise on the screen and fly all the way up like this, so you get a deeper stretch and more range of motion. So if you can set it up, I definitely recommend doing that. And doing up to like 3 or maybe even 4 sets of around 15 reps to failure, obviously, as with these other exercises, because if you're actually genuinely focusing on training mainly per muscle growth, doing like 3 reps in reserve and this kind of gay shit,
it's called a wanker's workout,
doesn't really work. Just go to failure, bro.
Like the muscle starts burning and you feel uncomfortable. I think that's not good for you. No, you should put the weight down at that point, yeah?
And you can spam this exercise up to 3 days per week because it's really, really important, because the lateral delts are almost the key to getting 3D shoulders. But to get that actual like real 3D look, you need to also train the rear delts. This is a really obscure muscle, and most people say that it's kind of hard to hit with calisthenics, but I have a couple of really good exercises up my sleeve that you should definitely implement into your training. The first exercise is the reverse deadlift. This is a really, really good exercise, not only for the front lever, because the front lever is a really good skill, where I most importantly use this exercise, because that's like a key. If you, by the way, want to learn the front lever, I recommend checking out this video. It's definitely the best video out there on YouTube about actually learning the front lever. So you also can do the reverse deadlifts, or if you can't do them at the start, with a resistance band. Anchor it on your lower back. Try to not get it to like snap forward and completely scrape your ass. That is not a really good thing. But what you really want to focus on is, again, the deep stretch on the reverse deadlift. So you go super, super down, try to touch the ground with your lower back to get the best stretch on your rear delts. And doing 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps around 1 or 2 days a week is, I think, good enough. But you can also do this next exercise, which targets the rear delts even more. But you need rings for this exercise. It is the ring rear delt fly. I'll put an exercise on the screen right now, where you actually try to do like rear delt fly. So you can see people on the machines in the gym, on the like pec deck machine, like reversing and doing it like this. That's really, really good. So you can do 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps of this around 2 days per week. But you know that I mentioned this exercise, like you on the pec deck, you just reverse and do rear delts. The actual science-based lifters would not go on the deck face forward, but like this, on the side, grab one of the handles and do this exercise. This is a really, really good exercise for the rear delts. I do it myself quite a lot, up to 3 days a week, in order to build better shoulders. And you can easily do this with a resistance band. One thing I want to teach you about the technique is that you want to think about there is a table of money in front of you and you are trying to swipe away as much money as possible. What this will do is that it would prevent you from like doing this with a completely straight hand, but it also prevents you from doing stuff like this. You are just trying to cover enough surface area, not enough, but as much surface area with your hand as possible. Have the exercise on the screen, the exact technique demonstration. And I will do this for 2 sets, obviously, for each hand, to failure, as I said previously, at the rep range of around 15 reps. And if you want all of the calisthenics exercises, not only for the shoulders, but for the bicep, tricep, abs, traps, everything, also the attractive muscle groups to build an aesthetic body, you should go and check out the link in the description, which is my own educational platform called Calisthenics School, where you get personal help from me, as well as all of the courses that I offer that are about strength training, so getting better at dips, pull-ups, these types of things, building an aesthetic body, and learning insane skills like the handstand push-up, front lever, and the full planche. So go and check it out if you want to invest into your education. But if you want to watch some more free stuff from me, you can check out this video, which is how to build an aesthetic body. It is like a small part of the actual course that I offer, so you can go and check that out. And if you want to actually get stronger in weighted calisthenics, you can check out this video, which is the complete end-to-end strategy of how I outcompeted 99% of calisthenics athletes. Bye, take care, bro, you got this.